Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we jump into the lower time frame, I'm going to go over the two higher time frame ideas that we're looking for here. So within the idea here that we are in a flat, what we are saying is that we could have this as 3, 3, and we're looking for this 5-wave structure to the downside. Now it is possible that we could actually start to extend out here where we have this as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we see a much more bearish scenario. But within the count here, what I would be saying is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we were looking for a fifth wave. Now the problem is it's hard to count this as a fifth wave into this low here, because you'd have to say this is 1, 2, 3. This would have to then be a triangle, and you'd be looking for a fifth wave in this way, which could then mean that we are completed into this low. So we need to be on the lookout for some kind of a reversal to the upside. Now the way that I'm currently looking at this is it is much neater to count it actually into this low over here of this 25,328. So because of that reason, I'm just being mindful that we do have the potential here that we could still get a bit more complex. Now there's two ways that I'm looking at this. Within the more complex idea, what we'd be saying is that potentially we could be looking for something along these lines where we're looking to form a bigger corrective structure. So there's two areas of interest here. This would be the orange box here of this 50% to the 786, which would be between this 29689 and this 28024. Now, it is also possible that if we do start to see a bigger corrective structure, we could see an overshooting B wave into this higher blue box area, in which case 33548 to this 31K is going to be a zone I'm going to be watching out for if we do continue to see this level hold and start to see price looking to push to the upside. So we're going to go over some of the smaller internal counts here as to how this can happen, but effectively this would be looking at a bigger flat correction. Now it is also possible that we could be forming a move off of this high here, which is still not complete, and the way that I would be looking at that is something along these lines where we could actually have this as a 3-wave move to the downside. Now this move here could potentially just be a B wave completed and we start to break down in a bigger 5-wave move, in which case our 1-to-1 level would be here at this 22,264. So going to be keeping an eye on that. As long as we fail to actually break back above this high of this 28,137, need to be careful of that direct push to the downside. Really, we need to just watch this high and just make sure that, if we fail to take this, we could still see continuation to the downside in one of these other options. Now, we did discuss this just a second ago, this idea of the C wave. Now, the C wave could still actually be in play here if we want to look at this move as a bigger diagonal pattern. And what we'd then be saying here is that effectively this could be ABC for wave 1. We have a 3-wave move up for wave 2. And we could be looking for this A, B, and C to the downside. Same idea here in validation is this 28,142, which is this high here. And what we'd be discussing is, this move down is looking like a 5-wave move. So either this move completes here. We could argue there's something like a triangle here. I don't really like that interpretation because compared to this wave 2, it would be very big. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying is we still have a C wave down, and this would be valid till we actually cross this invalidation line, but I really wouldn't want to see this come much higher than this 27,516. We are flirting with this 50% level already, and what we'd be looking for is effectively a 5-wave move to the downside. 1-to-1 would actually be a little bit higher up here now, which would be this 24,192. So that would be looking for a 5-wave move to start from this area. So we need to just be on the lookout that even if we do push up a little bit higher here towards this 27K region, I would be just looking out for this potential that we still have another leg to the downside. Now, the other bearish alternative here would be that we have a much bigger drop to come here. And what we'd be saying is that this whole move here, instead of this being A, B, and C, and we're looking to target out this 1-to-1, would be that this could be a 1-2, and then we're looking for a deeper wave 3. Now, the target area, once again here, has moved up slightly. So 22,673 is going to be our target area here for this wave 3 if this does continue to push to the downside. Now, if we do look at this move up here as a corrective structure, we have already come past the 50%, like I said, so we need to just be careful that if we start to see 5-wave structure to the downside, this could start to become a bigger 5-wave move, something like this, looking to push us down into these areas. Now, we're going to discuss some of the ways where we could still actually see a bit more of a bounce to the upside. So within the smaller idea here that this is a wave 2 or a wave B, what we were talking about in the previous video was the potential that, this move could be A, B, and C. And what we were looking for was this target of this 26,689. Now, we did move up here in the C wave, and we've been talking about this, and when we said is, there's two areas that this could look to extend out. Now, if this is looking to extend out here, what we could have is that this move here could be this W. This move down here into this green box area, like we discussed previously, could offer us support, and we could be looking for another 3-wave move to the upside. So this would be looking at the structure as a bigger W, X, and a Y. Now, what I would be looking for here as a potential target would be this 27,022 to this 27,326 level, where we could still see price push up one more time here, where this actually becomes W, this becomes X, and this becomes our Y wave target. So I'm going to be watching this. If we are looking at this as a Y wave here, what would we want to see play out? So the way that I'm currently looking at this is that if we come in here, what we could have here is that this whole move here is just an A wave into this high. We have this as a B, and we could potentially be looking for something like a diagonal pattern to the upside. Now, within this idea, what we'd then be saying is that, we're looking for this potential of a wave 2 to come into play. We have already come down towards a 702. We can see here in the yellow box area, and we have had a reaction to the upside. Now, this reaction to the upside is just in 3 waves currently, and until we actually start to break out of this blue box area and the 786 level here of this 26,790, I'm going to be on the lookout that this could just be a corrective connector wave here, and we could still see continuation down. So the yellow support box over here is going to be important. We've already come down to the 702. Like I said, I'm actually going to remove some of these higher levels here because we don't really need them. So we've already come down to the 702. We don't really want to see this lose this 786 level, which would be here, into this 26,364. And then we have the 854 slightly lower than this at this 26,319. But we don't really want to lose this. Invalidation of this idea of seeing this bigger impulse to the upside, or at least a diagonal to the upside, would be by crossing this zone of this 26,255. So that would be this red line down here, which would be effectively this low. If we do continue to see a push to the downside here, it is possible that we could still be in the B wave, where we have this as a bigger A, B, and a C, and we get a 5-wave move down, pushing us back into this white box area. Wouldn't want to see this 25,994 be lost if this is the case. So if we do see a move like this as a 3-wave structure down, it is possible this could be W, X, and Y. If we start to see 5 waves down, we need to be very careful that this move isn't starting to have a bigger breakdown from this point. But effectively, what I would be looking for here is, I wouldn't like to say that this is completed into this point here as a wave 2. I mean, it's technically possible if you want to say that this is W, X, and Y. The problem is this Y wave would have been very short. And, for more confidence that we're starting to see a bigger push to the upside in 5 waves, the first thing you'd want to see here is effectively pushing up past the 1.618 of this smaller move, which is here at this 26,740. If we start to push up past that level, we can start looking for that possibility of a break to the upside here. One more time. Now, if this is going to develop in 1, 2, and we're going to get a normal 3rd wave, our target would actually be up here towards this 27,554. Now, the reason I'm looking at this, it is possible that within this internals here, we could argue that we've extended in the 5th wave, and this could become 1, 2, 3, and then we'd be looking for a 4th and a 5th. But until we actually see price looking to actually push up in a more impulsive way here, need to be very careful that this could still be within the B wave here, or alternatively we could start to form impulsive structure to the downside, looking for a bigger breakdown. So this would be looking for the Y wave. If we start to lose the 786 of this 25,994, the probability then becomes that this move is already completed here, and we could be looking for either a C wave to the downside, or alternatively we could be looking for a wave 3 to the downside. So this is why we need to be very careful here, because within these two options of either the bigger drop here, where we are looking for a wave 3, or alternatively this diagonal pattern, we are right within this area that we typically look for a rejection. So we need to just be careful of that downside potential. Now, it is possible that this could also be a C wave here where we could have this as 1, 2, and then we could have this as an ABC, looking at this move as potentially looking to form as a diagonal pattern. Now within this idea, what we'd be saying then is that this is A, B, and C up into this high, the 3 waves down for our wave 2, and what we'd be looking for here is saying that this is our A wave, invalidation is this 26,224, and we're looking for that potential that this is either ABC and we're looking to complete here, which would be very short, or alternatively we have this as a bigger corrective pattern here, and we're going to see one more push to the upside after this completes a push to the downside here. So this is why until we actually lose this low, we do have potential to actually come back up here and put in another high. I will be looking out for this 27,342 because this is the length of this wave 1 here. So if we cross this, this cannot be a diagonal pattern anymore. This wave 3 should be shorter than that target if we do see that continuation and a push to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for here within the idea here that, you know, this could be looking just as a corrective structure more locally here before looking for a break to the downside. Now, one of the other ways that we discuss this is that we could have something like a bigger flat correction. So the idea within this would be that this is 3 waves up. We have this is A, B, and C. So this would still align with the idea of having another push to the downside. Now it is possible, we did discuss this, that this could be A, B, and C to the downside like this, but it would be a very shallow wave. So I don't really like that interpretation, but I'm still looking out for that potential. We could start to see a 5-wave structure. Now, if we do see a 5-wave structure off this low, target area would typically be this 1618 to this 1236. So we need to be very careful that, you know, there is a potential that we could start to see a little bit of impulsiveness playing out here in a C wave. However, if we just get 5 waves to the upside here, where effectively this becomes 1, 2, we get 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. We push up into this level here. It's going to be important what happens next. If we do get just 3 waves to the downside, we could potentially look for that continuation up. If we start to get a 5-wave move to the downside off these highs, then we need to be very careful that this isn't becoming a bigger 5-wave structure to the downside, which will look to sweep these lows. So that's what I'm going to be watching out, you know, over the period of the next couple of weeks and days, depending on how long it looks to actually play out here. That we could see, you know, this continue to show strength and continue to hold these lows and look to rally. But if we do, it's going to be important what happens after that rally. Now, within that breakout potential, what we would have to say here is that effectively this move is either 1, 2, 1, 2, and another 1, 2 here, and we're looking for a rally in this yellow 3rd wave, or alternatively we could argue that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, in which case this could actually be a diagonal pattern in itself. And what we would then be saying is that this move is going to look to break down in a 3-wave structure, which would not take the low of this 24,901. Now, if we do see something like that, what I will be looking out for here is if we do push back down here, we don't want to lose this 25,314, and the golden pocket would actually be coming back into these lows. So that could be quite an interesting level. 50% would be back into the higher range of this. So if we do start to see a little bit more of a drop off here where this becomes a bigger ABC, it wouldn't invalidate this idea of still having an impulse up here. But this way I'm looking for the potential that, you know, as long as we hold 26,224 and this level here of this 25,764, we could potentially look at this whole move here as a wave 1, and either we have this as a corrective pattern and we're going to come back down towards this 26,306, or alternatively we have this as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to start to see a bit of a rally to the upside. Now, within this idea here, what we would be looking for is saying that, you know, we want to see a break above this 1618 level. Now, this would actually look to invalidate the idea of the diagonal pattern from further on here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what I'd be saying is this 27,506 is going to be the key level. If we do start to see price holding these lows, where this becomes 1, 2, potentially get another 1, 2 here, we see 3, 4, 5, we get another 4th and a 5th, and we start to look to push up towards this 1618 level, then we can potentially look for support to come in around this 27k region, and then looking for another 5-wave move up. Now, the idea within this is ideally what we want to see here if this is a 121212 here, is we want to hit this 28,053 level. That would give us more confidence that this move is extending, and then we'd be looking for this to become 1 2 3 4 5, and then effectively this could potentially take us up to this 28,601, which would be the 1.618 of this lower move here. So this is how we could potentially build into his 5-wave structure. The problem is, you know, we need to just be respectful that there is that more bearish counter where we could start to see a push down. Losing 26,224 would invalidate the yellow count. It wouldn't invalidate the white count, but it would make it less likely at that point, because of the fact that if we get this as A, B, and C, or WXY, the secondary wave 2 over here would be a lot bigger than this primary wave 2 that we've got over here. So it starts to become less likely, and then would be more likely that either this is a diagonal pattern, or alternatively this is WX and we've already completed this Y wave and we're looking to break down. Even though, you know, if it is a Y wave, I would be anticipating another move up here just for equality within the time relationship of these two different legs. It would make more sense to see another push to the upside, but we'll have to monitor the internals as we see this happen. So coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, we can see that we've already come down to our S1 line and we've retested this. We've moved back up and we're testing our central CPR lines. If we continue to reject off this level, this opens up the potential of either a retest of this lower S1 line, or alternatively looking for these lower targets of 22,264, 26,255, 26,072, 25,928 as potential downside targets for today. If, however, we flip these back into support, what we could then see is a retest of this R1 line here, of this 26,734, which would be coming back up into these highs. We do have the yesterday's high over here at this 26,768, which could be quite an interesting zone. Other targets to the upside would be 26,926, 27,082, 27,258 for today. Now moving over and having a look at the weekly pivot points, we can see here that we've come back down into the R1 line and we haven't had a move to the upside. If we do see a deeper retracement here where this potentially becomes a bigger ABC pattern, I will be looking out for a retest of this 25,910 to this 25,860, though we will get new CPR lines printed as of tomorrow. So we're going to have to see where those print in relationship to these previous ones to see as to which targets will become viable for next week. Now moving over here and having a look at the monthly pivots, what we can see is that we are still flirting with this lower line here. Like I said, you know, if we do find support here, we always have potential to move up towards the central line of this 27,117, which would align with the idea of seeing something like this as an ABC pattern, or alternatively looking for a bit of an impulsive move to the upside. Other targets for this month that could offer us resistance is this 27,708 area. If we do start to reject off of these central lines, I will be looking out for the potential to come back and test this S1 line at 23,966, 22,041, and this 18,914 are potential downside targets for this month if we reject off these central lines. If we, however, we start to push up through these, I will be looking out for this 29,049, 32,155, and this 34,148 as potential upside targets for this month. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below. And also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.